Economics, Standard 12, Unit 8, International Economic Organizations continued. Let us learn today Brics. Brics. The word Brics is the acronym for an association of 5 major emerging national economies: Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. Originally, Brazil, Russia, India, China, the first 4 countries were the members and known as BRIC. In 2001. Later, in 2010, South Africa joined with them and it was just coined as BRICS in 2010. So, BRICS can just have 5 important member countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. The BRICS members are known for their significant influence on regional affairs. Since 2009, the BRICS nations have met annually at formal summits. South Africa hosted the 10th BRICS summit in July 2018. The agenda for BRICS Summit 2018 includes inclusive growth, trade issues, global governance, shared prosperity, international peace and security. Its headquarters is at Shanghai, China. Headquarters at Shanghai in China. The first summit was held at Moscow in Soviet Russia, and South Africa hosted the 10th conference at Johannesburg in July 2018. India had an opportunity of hosting 4th and 8th summits in 2012 and 2016 respectively. BRICS objectives are to increase trade cooperation by making an exclusive trade bloc. Secondly, to use currency other than US dollar. Since dollar is a dominant currency and US can control the trade, can control the flow of dollar, BRICS helps in the member countries operating the alternative currencies. But this effort has not succeeded much. Thirdly, to increase regional cooperation. And fourthly, to create a separate trade bloc made for developing countries for trade cooperation. And of course, it has got its own functions and achievements also. The functions of BRICS are also very important. It is a promoter of legitimate international system and it's a promoter of legitimate international system. As a promoter of legitimate international system. It also just helps also advocating reforms of the UN Security Council. And secondly, this group of nations is especially meant for South-to-South framework for cooperation. South-to-South framework for cooperation. Framework for cooperation. So this group of nations just act a framework, that is South-to-South framework for cooperation. And thirdly, it performs as an agent to bridge the increasing gap between the developing and developed countries. For instance, the World Trade Organization, the Brics countries are emphasizing to promote a fair order regarding agricultural policies. So, the third function is promoting an agent or acting as an agent to bridge the gap between the developing and the developed countries. An agent to bridge the developing and developed countries. And fourthly, it also it performs a commendable contribution for assisting developing countries. A commendable contribution for assisting developing countries. Contribution for assisting developing countries, especially in gaining in areas such as an advantage in trade and climate change negotiations. It disseminates information and exchange platform beyond economic cooperation, and also it acts as a catalytic in protecting the interest of middle powers on global forum. The achievements are also very great indeed. Some of the major achievements are the Contingent Reserve Arrangement, CRA, has further deepened and consolidated the partnership of its members in the economic financial area. Secondly, in the 6th BRICS Summit in Brazil, the member countries signed an agreement to create a development bank with headquarters Shanghai, China in 2015 on the lines of Asian Development Bank and the World Bank. And thirdly, the economic potential and democratic development are putting the BRICS countries increasingly in a leading position, and especially in setting the global agenda and having a greater say in the global governance. So it has been just economically improving a grade in the global level. The BRICS countries make up 21% of global GDP. It makes up 21% of global GDP. They have increased their share of global GDP threefold in the past 15 years. The BRICS are home to 45% of the world's population. So 45% of the world's population are only in the BRIC nations. The BRICS countries have combined foreign reserves of an estimated $4.4 trillion. It has to be remembered that BRICS shares 43% of world population, but only 21% of the global GDP. Even though it has increased its GDP, the percentage of the population also has high indeed. The achievements of BRICS help their member countries to move greatly towards economic progress and integration. So, BRICS also has its own achievements, and it is marching towards the economic progress together with its member countries.